We're back this week with Thomas Allen, the turkey expert, and we're talking turkey hunting gear and all that implies with that. All right, welcome in, Gun Talk Hunt fans. I am your host, KJ, and today we are continuing our conversation with Thomas Allen, and I know you guys are going to be definitely interested in this one because it's the gear, it's the tactics you need to be successful for this turkey season. But before we get into that, this Gun Talk Hunt is brought to you by Crimson Trace, Savage Arms, Silencer Central, silence delivered, Lockdown, secure your lifestyle, and Brownells, serious about firearms since 1939. All right. Last week, we talked about a little bit of what the ladies are doing in the fishing and hunting industries, and then we jumped over and we talked about how to get access. And I'm talking with Thomas Allen, and if you are not visually watching this, and you are listening over on the airways, it'd probably behoove you to check out at least the YouTube video that we're doing right here. Because on the screen, Thomas Allen has a row of beards. So you know the guy knows how to, he's showing it off now, and there's, oh my goodness, there's a blue million of them up there. Oh my goodness, he's got a lot of birds, so he knows what he's doing. Now let's talk.
We've had some fun over the years, that's for sure.
You have had, that's a lot of memories. You know, that's an interesting thing. I always see your trophy wall, and if you're listening over the airwaves, this does you no good right now. But trophies and what we take from the trophies are memories. And I look behind Thomas Allen and I see a wall full of a life lived full of memories. And man, it's a beautiful representation of what we do.
I appreciate that. I'm proud of this room. We've lived here for almost 2 years. And when I saw this, I thought I finally have a place to hang everything. And I'm selfishly, I got to tell you, I lost about 25 beards in Alabama when we lived there. I had them in a clump like this, all zip tied together. They sat in my garage and I didn't think about them forever. And when we went to move here, I found them and they were in pieces, like mites and bugs had eaten them. So I'm short a few, but that still represents a lot of. I mean,
there's 100 plus up there.
I killed my 100th turkey in 2021. So,
oh, wow.
And I've killed turkeys in 13 states, and I'm hoping to expand that by a few this year. But if you want to, and allow me a shameless plug, if you would like to experience a lot of these hunts, I've actually filmed a good portion of them. And
yeah.
I've got about 80 hunts on my YouTube channel, and you can go check those out. It's all outdoor pursuits. Or you can just search Thomas Allen Hunting and they'll show up. And I can't promise they're super great. I talk a lot. As you know, I'm doing a podcast. I'm good at running my mouth.
He does talk a lot, folks. I'll give you that. And this is your host, KJ.
You can also see my son and I, our whitetail hunt in Oklahoma that Kevin actually invited us on. So those are there as well.
That was an awesome one. That was really good. That was special for me.
That wall is right over here. And I want to do that again because it was so successful. But I mean, we know that, slam bam, 3.5 days of hunting and 3 decent bucks down is not the norm. So I'm kind of scared.
I don't know. This year it could have been done. This year was pretty dang successful out there. It's just, it's one of those places that just gets better and better. And I hate to tout my home state of Oklahoma. I hate to tout it. And I hate to tell people that it is good. And it is. It's really special. Good.
And if you have grown up in your traditional Midwestern whitetail hunting scenario, experiencing the Texas, Oklahoma whitetail experiences, I would highly recommend it. It's difficult, it's unique, but it's intriguing. I don't even know another way to explain it.
It's different.
Sit on top of a train box car and you can see for miles and wonder, where do the deer live? Well, all over the place.
They live all over, but I swear I could take you out there. I could take you out there right now, or I can take you out there in the middle of summer and you will not see a single deer. You won't see a single one. and you'll laugh it off, and then you come back when it's go time, and they come out of the woodwork. They are everywhere.
Well, and turkeys are like that, where especially here in the winter, they tend to yard up in large numbers, flocks of 60, 80, 100 birds, and they don't necessarily live in the places that you hunt them. And that makes scouting them difficult. So it takes like year over year of data and what you're seeing and remembering where to look. So it can be challenging here too for that.
Well, let's start on the gear. Let's focus on maybe 5 to 10 items that guys getting into turkey hunting, or maybe it's season hunters that aren't maybe using the right stuff. What would you say are the most important things that they need?
Well, I'm gonna throw calls in there, and that's like a giant array of options. I mean, you can go to any sporting goods store and pick out one of 100. You get online and there's custom calls. I'm a call junkie. There's 100 turkey calls in this room alone, and I enjoy collecting them. But you really only need 1 or 2, and I would suggest learning a mouth call. Some type of box call or a slate call, which is it's got a pot with a friction. I suppose I could walk through steps and grab one, but pick out a call that you like. You don't need to spend a lot of money. Turkey callers are better than the turkeys themselves nowadays. So get something that makes a turkey noise, become proficient at it. That's a given. But like pieces of gear that I think are often overlooked, and it depends on your style of hunting. I'm going to say this, Kevin, there are turkey hunters out there that are, they think it's a sin to shoot a turkey in any other format than sitting against a tree. And I don't buy into. Are you
talking about Jeremy King?
Well, there's a picture on my wall over here of Jeremy King and myself with a double that we shot out of a blind together. You can ask him about that someday. He does not like hunting out of a blind. And you know what? I enjoy sitting against a tree. I prefer that. But I film a lot of my hunts, so I pack a blind in. And if you're taking a youth hunter or a beginner hunter, number one piece of gear is a blind and a comfortable chair. Get them in
100%.
So they can sit and wait. And you're going to find it's enjoyable. Like, I don't feel like I'm cheating myself out of a turkey experience by sitting in a blind. It's
if the turkeys are there.
Well, the blind gives you the opportunity to wait them out. Whereas if you're sitting against a tree for 6 hours, it's a great opportunity to give yourself a hernia and leg cramp. So
all the good stuff that comes with hunting. Now there's they've got great blinds out now. I mean, I've still got my original double bull blind, but they're making them the surround view. I think Primos does it. The surround view.
Well, so Primos bought double bull, I don't know, 10 years ago, and the Primos version of that blind is the Primos double bull surround view 360. Yeah, and it's really a fascinating blind because it kind of has that one way. Trying to think,
it's almost like a one-way mirror.
Yeah, essentially, you can see out of it mostly, but looking into it's very difficult for an approaching animal because of the camo and the super tiny holes. But I really like that blind in certain scenarios, but I've used it enough to tell you that I don't have just that one.
Right.
For example, if I'm going to go to Nebraska or South Dakota, where the season is traditionally open in early April, you're guaranteed to have some cold weather. Mm-hmm. And in that case, I have a double bull deluxe. It's actually solid fabric, and I found that is actually quite a bit warmer than this other version. And it's like it's blown in or a blown up screen in porch kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you can kind of decide if you want to have the view of everything or if you want to have a little bit more warmth and comfort. I think they both come into play. I'm a junkie, so I have one of each. I don't think you need one of each. If you're going to buy one, buy the deluxe.
I would probably say you need one of each. You really do, because you start looking at multi-use, and if you're going to be turkey hunting, you're probably going to be a deer hunter, and so they all have their uses. So going with 2 is not a bad option.
Yep, there are lesser expensive blinds, and I think you get what you pay for. You said you had your first double bull blind, dude. When they first came out, I bought that triangular one, the 2-hub, the T5, I think it was, or T2. I still have it. The original rod's still in it. It still works. And it's 15 years old.
Oh yeah, I still have the original, and what's funny is that I had the original and I had it put up, and they offered it's a lifetime guarantee on them. And I left it out and snow piled up on it and it collapsed and just shredded it. I sent it in and they repaired it and they
They
sent it back. It's just as good.
that to me speaks volumes. So, and I said 15 years is because I don't think I'm as old as I am, but dude, it was 25.
Yeah, you're
It
old.
wasn't that long.
Because
But
when
yeah,
they
so
came
I
out,
would
man, that
invest.
was the juice.
Oh man, it changed everything. That
Hmm.
was a proverbial game changer in this day. Really
Yep.
was.
So
So
calls, you got blind.
one of the things I might invest in this year is Double Bull has a blind chair. And you know the traditional camp chairs, right? You got
Uh-huh.
the little rods that kind of fold out, and
Yep.
I've noticed when I spend long days in those, it really starts to hurt your legs, cuts your circulation off, and they're going to work. But there's actually a blind chair that doesn't have that sharp edge where those legs come up to the side and it curves over, and so it's a little bit more ergonomically friendly to your legs, and your hips don't get as sore. It's bulky, it doesn't fold up very well, but I don't know. It's
Well,
something I'm going to consider, but a blind and quality chairs is a good start
all
for.
right. Before you finish the rest of the kit, I'm going to jump in here with a word from our sponsors. And on the other side, we're going to talk about a game cart that beats all game carts. Brownells, the new match precision optics are phenomenal, and they come with a donut reticle, not an actual donut. Okay, so let's just stop right there. But the donut reticle allows your eye to naturally place the target in the center, so it lines up very nicely. I think we all can agree this is something different. Okay, this is not your standard crosshairs. This is a donut reticle. It's a donut. You don't have a dot. You don't have crosshairs. But the new 1:6 by 24 is a low power variable optic. So whether you're putting it on an AR-15 or an AR-10, it gives you a range of magnifications from 1 to 6. All right. But the donut reticle is awesome. We got a chance to run this gun or run the optic at SHOT Show. Loved it. I was hitting targets out to 200 yards, so very easily. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. And it's assembled for Brownells in Japan, so it's very nice glass. This isn't stuff that is just right off the boat and they just slap it on there. This is very nice Japanese glass, and you're getting a deal. Okay, so that's the Match Precision Optics from Brownells, found at brownells.com. And Silencer Central. Silence delivered right to my door is a Banish 30 that's waiting to get on a 30 caliber. And I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to equip that on my hunting rifle, because if you're not hunting with suppressors, let me urge you to do so. It will change the game for you, and especially for kids. I don't think this can be understated. Hunting with big bulky earmuffs is kind of cumbersome. And so if you've got kids, you owe it to yourself to walk through the new e-forms process. I actually just got off 2 meetings, and they took about 10 minutes, both of them. But Silencer Central gives you a call, they verify all your information, and they submit your form. This is the new e-forms process. This is going to mean you get your suppressor or silencer, whatever you like to call it, within that 90 to 100 days. And I've heard reports, just reports, that people are getting them even earlier than that. So there's no long extended waiting times happening right now. So now's the perfect time to jump over to silencercentral.com to learn more. All right, we're back with Thomas Allen, and we're talking turkey gear. We're talking the stuff that's going to make you successful. So we've already kind of gone over calls, which is whether it's a pot call, a diaphragm, or a box call. A blind, have a blind just on hand. Even if you don't plan on using it, I still would recommend having one in the truck. Yep. Because you never know when you will need to run and gun, whether you need to just sit there for a second, and just having a little bit of ability to move around is key. And Thomas Allen mentioned the chair, having something comfortable to sit in, because it might take longer than you think.
Well, especially if you're in ag country like where I live, that don't have. We've talked about land access in the previous part of the show, and I have access to a lot of small properties, and that doesn't necessarily allow for me to sit in a certain spot where there's cover and a blind. Actually, turkeys are, you could, if you drive your truck out in the field the night before and don't move it, like they're going to walk around that. They don't particularly mind something that's not moving or making noise. So a blind allows you to sit in open country when you may not have the kind of cover necessary. Now, the deep South, Alabama, Florida, parts of Oklahoma that I've hunted, the run and gun approach is best. And we talk chairs. Kevin, you'll think back to our our Iowa hunt. And when we were doing a lot of those run and gun type deer hunts, we took what Jeremy King introduced me to, we call them turkey chairs. Yes. And it's basically like your camp chair, the fold out type, but it's really low to the ground, keeps your butt off the dirt, that's a great way to get cold.
Especially if there's snow.
And they pack well. That is a necessary piece of gear for any turkey hunter. I don't care what kind of turkey hunting you're going to do, you will use that and use it often. So Cabela's makes them, Primos makes them. There's a long list of chairs, but it's a fold-out camp style chair that's real small. Yeah,
it's just, and it makes it easy. You can deploy it quick. Just keeps you off the ground too. Just remember to look before you sit.
Especially if you're in the South where there might be a snake.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Or if you're in Oklahoma and you find a rattlesnake.
Or cactus. I've sat on those before too.
Oh my gosh. This deer season was tough on me on cactus. Like I sat in a couple, then I went out coyote hunting and I sat in some more. So I'm still picking.
I still remember that story you told about how you rolled over in this brush pile deer hunting and went face to face with a rattlesnake.
Yeah, it was terrifying. I still don't think I've recovered from that one. Like every time I get in a shinry bush, I'm thinking, there's going to be a rattlesnake in here crawling up. But another piece of gear, like I know a lot of guys, they carry a turkey vest, which will house your calls and anything you might need. And it'll have a pad on it typically. I've got I was trying to do the math on it because I know Ryan's going to head on a turkey hunt. He's going down to Florida. That lucky guy. But he was like, do I need a turkey vest? I was like, I got one for you. But I was trying to think of it. This vest is probably, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's like 23 years old. And it's an old Tom.
Yeah.
Great vest.
Old Tom vest too. That's funny. A good vest is important, and I think that fits both the run and gun style hunter or the blind hunter. You want to have your stuff centralized, and if you are going to sit and wait a turkey out, a vest is going to give you the opportunity to have multiple calls handy. Yeah. And a lot of times that will change a hunt. Just pick up a different call. The birds may respond. If it's windy, a box call is super important for high wind. Yes. Or if you have a slate pot style call, an aluminum call with like a carbon striker, man, that sucker reaches out for miles. But yes, invest in a good turkey vest. And one of this is my mandatory component to a turkey vest. If it doesn't have a strap right across here, I won't buy it because a lot of times you have the straps around your belly, maybe a little lower. When you're crawling on a bird, those straps will fall off your shoulder. And that's super aggravating. But if you have the chest strap, it's going to hold them tight. And that if I'm looking at a vest, that's one of the first things I look for. So
I'm telling you, I still run my old vest. And now I used to run a Tenzing pack.
Sure.
I used to run a Tenzing. Actually, I gave it to you.
I think that's in my basement.
It is. I remember giving it to you. I used to run that because it was super comfortable because you didn't really need a chair to sit back because it has legs that actually kick out.
And it was originally loved it.
Yeah, it was originally designed for coyote hunters, but I was like, man, this would do really good for turkey hunting.
And it did. It works well for that. So, I think having a decent vest is worth the investment. You kind of got to look around. There's a lot of options out there, and they're getting more and more expensive, which seems to be the norm with everything lately. But get one that fits. Get one that's going to fit your style of hunting. And I don't think there's that little strap. If you're carrying something over your shoulder, it pulls that down. Like that is, I've seen vests that don't have that strap on it. I'm like, I don't care how nice it is. I don't care how good the zippers are. If it doesn't have that, I don't
care
want
how expensive it is. It's not worth it. because it's going to be a headache later on, and I've dealt with that too.
I got to say this. This is gun talk, right?
Right.
A reliable shotgun, a turkey choke.
That's where I was going to go next.
And good bullets. Well, see, great minds think alike. I don't give a rip. I have a 30-year-old Remington 870 that you could drag behind a pickup. You could drop it in the creek, and it's going to fire every single time. And I guess in years past, Kevin, I kind of thought, I've kind of graduated beyond this thing. I think I want a different gun. And I managed to get a hold of a Benelli M2 20 gauge.
Well,
and
I don't blame you there.
I like it. I feel like I've earned it. But did you ever hear about the Benelli click? Have you ever not shut the shotgun all the way? Well, I did that, and I blew it on a gobbler that I called in for 2 hours. I went to click, and I'm like, I don't know what happened. And the bird blew out of there. Long story. But
long story, short show.
I've shot my last 3 seasons of birds with a 20 gauge. And I think one of the most impressive improvements in turkey hunting today has been the shot.
Yes, 100%.
I have used exclusively Boss Tom turkey loads with 12 and 20 gauge in the last 3 years. And so Jeremy and I will differ. Jeremy King, you've had him on your show a few times, a game warden from Iowa. He and I will differ on a couple aspects of turkey hunting. And one of which, and I've seen him stick to this, if he can't get a turkey inside of 35 to 40 yards, he won't shoot it. Mm-hmm. His prerogative.
He's stubborn.
Yep. And he's good enough.
Yeah.
I could learn a bunch from him. But me, on the other hand, if that bird puts a toe
also stubborn.
50, also stubborn. If that bird puts a toe over 50, I'll let him have it. And previously in the 20 gauge platform, you weren't able to do that. With the right choke, with the right shot, the heavy loads, and I'm sure you could probably name off several brands that have that heavy tungsten, bismuth type stuff. It's impressive, but pattern it and make sure that it's shooting where it's supposed to.
Yeah, that's the most important thing is patterning. Now, have you been running a red dot lately?
I have been. The 870, no, that's just a straight barrel. But real short, funny story. A few years ago, I was in South Carolina trying to shoot a bird, and I didn't have any bullets, or I forgot them. And I got down there. I was actually covering a bass tournament, and I had a few days in between events. I just went and picked up a box of shot off the shelf, went out, hunted, and the first day I had 3 turkeys come in. I shot every bullet I had and missed.
Oh, man.
And I had 2 days of hunt, so like devastating mistake. And I had 2 turkey loads left. I got back to the truck. I'm like, I don't know what I did. And now I've been known to miss a turkey, Kevin.
Oh yeah,
that happens.
I've heard,
but not like that. And I put a piece of just a square 8x10 piece of paper. I stuck a pin on a tree, backed up to 25 yards, and half of my pattern was off the bottom of the paper.
Oh wow.
So it was shooting way low. Yeah. And all I can figure is that load didn't work. I went and bought a different brand, a different box, and it was dead on. So
dead on.
Patterning your shotgun's important. And, it's hard to sight in or make an adjustment on a bird barrel with a bead.
Oh, yeah.
But if you know where it shoots, if that's all you have, then at least you can make that decision during game time. But I use a red dot on the M2. It's a Burris. The model's escaping me, but it's a little.
It's like their MPS. Or no, that's the Steiner MPS that I'm thinking of. But it's a Burris little red dot, right?
Burris red dot. It's super low profile. When you got it on your shoulder, it's not going to get broken or jacked up. So that's been helpful, and it's with that combination, the M2, the turkey choke tube I have in there, the Boston turkey loads. I can have about a 30% pattern at 50 yards. Okay. With a 20, that's pretty impressive.
That's pretty good. That's good. I like that. Well, I'm gonna jump in here. We're gonna take our last break, and we are talking with Thomas Allen, and we're gonna finish it up, and we're gonna do some. We're gonna talk a little bit more about gear because we all love some gear. I want to talk about red dot specifically. Crimson Trace. Did you know that Crimson Trace is not only known for lasers and maybe those little red dots that go on pistols? They also have a line of brush line scopes that will help you acquire your game better. Look at that. Look what they did. And they came out with there's 30 or 40 offerings for hunters, and it's their brush line series. This is high quality glass, rugged exterior, and they come in a wide variety of reticle options. So if you're looking for a new scope to outfit maybe a Savage, or maybe it's, your new high country rifle, definitely check out Crimson Trace, crimsontrace.com. Savage Arms. Speaking of backcountry rifles, did you know now is the time to be getting into the lightweight rifle game? So I'm not going to lie, I guess it's been about 9 years ago, I decided, you know what? I want a lighter weight rifle. This was my goal. This was my dream. And I was going to build a custom rifle. I built a custom rifle, which was lightweight. I think it ends up weighing somewhere south of 9 pounds. Okay. That rifle cost me, I'm not going to say the price because my wife might be listening, but it cost me a lot more than what these new backcountry Extreme Series rifles cost at Savage. And you're getting the dependability, you're getting precision. So these are great rifles to be part of. You can find them at savagearms.com/backcountry, but there are 6 premium grade rifles that are purpose built for specific applications. They've got the Timberline, the Ultralight, the High Country, the Ridge Warrior, the Bear Hunter, and the Impulse Big Game, which is that straight pull rifle, all available in different cartridges and configurations. But find out more at savagearms.com. And Lockdown. They've got new secure walls out, and Lockdown's focus is pretty simple. It wants to organize your life and to display your life, your carry life, or your hunting life, or your tactical life, but it wants to organize that for you. And their new secure walls do it. They're easily configured, and the secure wall options are an inexpensive way to organize your firearms, your magazines, gear, your panel, my reloading bench, which has to be done. I need to get on that. But you can pair it in any room. You can do this on any wall. So let's say you have a closet and you're not using it right, or at least half of it you're not using it, which I found out that this is happening to me. But I can take down part of the wall. I can strap in some secure walls. I can pair it with a vault door. And now my closet has turned into a gun vault, which is super cool. And if you use code GUNTALK10, you get 10% off your entire cart at lockdown.com. Give them a look. All right, we're back with Thomas Allen here on Gun Talk Hunt. I am your host, KJ, and we were talking about the gun setup that he uses. We're talking about all that good stuff. Okay, so I'm just now setting it up. I'm a little behind the 8 ball because we have been traveling ridiculous amount. I am going to be running and it's a cheap gun. I know you get the listeners and the viewers are probably going to mock me for it, but the sucker shoots and I love it. It's a Stevens model, it's a 410.
Ooh.
A little single shot 410. And I want to say the gun cost me like $275. And it comes with a pick rail on top, ready for optics. So, and I'm kind of ashamed about it. They always tell you to spend more on your glass than you do your gun, but I don't know if they meant it like this. But I'm going to outfit it with a loopholed micro Micro Pro. So we'll see how it goes this season. But the 410 kind of intrigues me on turkeys.
It does me too. And there's a lot of states that still don't allow it. And the regulations haven't caught up with the advancements in shot. And I mentioned Boss Tom a minute ago. Boss shot shells, and their turkey brand is called Boss Tom. They have a 410 round, and they say, I've not shot it or tested it, but they say it is absolutely deadly, 45 to 50 yards. A 410.
A 410. That's pretty nuts.
It is.
You look at Boss Tom is one of the ones that's kind of on that leading edge. Federal's making a lot of good stuff. They've come out with a bunch. Yeah,
and I'm not necessarily married to any of them, but I've had the opportunity to shoot Boss Tom, and I'm a believer in it. It's come through for me. I've yet to miss again.
Oh gosh,
I've been
Well, we
known.
know how this
That's gonna happen
turkey
this year,
season's
Thomas.
going for Thomas Allen now. I mean, you're gonna do it. You're gonna be missing all the time. Why'd you say that?
Ugh,
You
I
know
don't know.
better than that. You just put bad juju on your season.
I did, but you're right. I think that's a cool platform, and really, admittedly, I've always been about like the hunt and having the turkey. It didn't matter to me what weapon I use. I tried bow hunting a little bit, shot a few birds. I'm not really into that. Like the old saying goes, mutual friend of ours, Luke Hartle,
Oh
phrased
gosh.
it for me. He said, there's something right about shooting a turkey with a shotgun. And so that's my standpoint on it. But now with this shot, you have the opportunity to try out some different shotguns, and that's intriguing to me.
Yeah, and I think that's great. Another mutual friend of ours, Josh Ward, and I were sitting at a blind, and I had taken out an old, I think it was an old Stevens. It was an old bolt action
Ooh.
20 gauge. I did like talk about like trying to get it done, and we killed 4 birds out of that set.
Man, so you're chucking.
Oh, I'm running it. I'm running it. A little beaded sight. I think I
those
shot.
bolt action shotguns are known to be evil too. Like they whack you hard, but
Oh, it did not feel good at all. Like
I just think that is one of the coolest advancements in turkey hunting, because my father has it's probably I would imagine as old as they come, a semi-auto 20 gauge that his father gave him that was his grandfather's.
oh wow.
And it's especially neat for us. I'm Thomas Allen the fourth. My son's the fifth, and so to have something that kind of has a name legacy behind it, I think this shot that we're able to get nowadays is going to offer opportunities for people to use heritage weapons, and I think that's a key component.
Yeah, it is. This was not. I had these turkeys in so tight it didn't matter what shot I was using. But there's a risk, and this is why I really do believe you should pattern your shotgun up close too.
Yes,
because there is a risk of that choke tube coming, and it's coming out tight. There's a chance, man. The closer they are, I think it's the harder to hit.
Let's talk about decoys quick, and I'm gonna roll this into the point you just made.
Yes.
I still have my very first turkey decoy, and I still take it with me every time. It's I want to say it's a flambeau. I mean, it looks like a truck tire. That's how old rubber it is. And super jet black. I call her Black Betty. It's a feeding hen. And sometimes the wind tips her over. God, we're still got to come check her out. But you need to invest in quality decoys. That one's old, it's ugly, it still works, but I have it's extreme compared to how much we used to not spend on decoys, because you can spend $12 and have 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
I invested in the Dave Smith decoys, and I also have some AV&X decoys, and there's something particular that happens with an approaching gobbler when they see that realism, and
they are locked in.
They believe it's real, and it's very important, I think, to add some realism to your decoy flock. If you're going to do a bare minimum, I would do a Jake in a semi-strut profile with a feeding hen. If that's the bare minimum. And you want that Jake for early season as they're aggressive and still establishing the pecking order. But as the season goes on and some toms are tired of getting their butt kicked, maybe just a feeding hen is all that's going to be required. So you have those two, you're going to be set. But mentioned a minute ago about sometimes those close shots are the toughest ones to make. I always set my decoys 20 steps from my blind and up to 30 steps, depending upon the scenario. Sometimes the terrain will change or whatever.
Right.
But a secret that I've found or that I've learned is I will have my primary breeding pair, if you will, at 20 to 25 yards. And I'll take Black Betty, or I'll take another feeding hen, and I'll put them out at extended ranges. It's far, like 40 to 50 yards.
Right.
But those spots might be up on a little knob where an approaching turkey would see that one. And once he gets close to that one, he'll see the rest and finish. So it's kind of like creating an approach, like a run, if you will. You know how you do with duck decoys and goose decoys. You want them to fly into the V, similar with turkey decoys. But invest in a good decoy, set it up at the right spot so that your shot is as easy as possible, because at 10 yards, you're shooting a baseball, whereas at 20, you got a bigger margin of error. So the decoys will help you make a better shot.
Yeah, they do help, and again, realistic looking decoys definitely helps. I'm running an Avian X, and it's beautiful. Like, I mean, it's gorgeous.
They're awesome. I had an Avian X that got flogged by a turkey, and so those are actually the newer ones. I think are an inflatable type. And
Yeah,
I mean, this turkey wrecked that decoy. I thought it was junk, but when they say it's got this self-healing skin, I'm like, yeah, whatever,
it does.
But it does. You can hit it with the BB. A turkey spur makes it in there. It somehow pulls itself together and still holds air. So
Still looks good.
It does.
They still look
stuff.
good too, which is it's shocking how they can do this stuff nowadays. Which that's
we've almost forgot something, and this I want to mention
your
this.
cart.
Yes, and I get a lot of crap for this because
You should. You should get a lot of crap for this. Okay, so you've heard that he could potentially carry out like 6 to 8 decoys, a blind, camera gear, shotgun, extra shells probably because he's gonna miss, snacks, chairs.
Right.
So people who are listening to this are starting to do math.
How does he carry all that crap?
Tell him how he does it, Thomas.
Well, now I'm going to justify it a little bit because you're making me feel a little guilty. Not too guilty because I'm going to do it all
Because he
year.
hunts with kids and he films it. And this is not, it's difficult.
My son is now big enough to carry about anything, thank goodness. But my daughter still will take her vest and a shotgun, and that's about it. But I purchased, and Kevin, I'm completely forgetting the company that makes this cart, but it is a Sporting Clays cart. And there are different models of this. The one that I have has a single front wheel that's on like a 360 pivoting axle type thing. You can get them with 2 wheels. And I would suggest if you're going to go this route, get the 2 wheels because that deals with rough ground better than the one I have. But I can put blind, multiple chairs, multiple decoys. It's got 2 gun holders, so I can actually put the guns in the side of the cart. Food, camera gear, tripod, and I grab went to the hardware shop and bought a handful of those stretchy bungee cords to kind of hold everything together on the frame, and it makes life easy.
Okay, our options are pro carts, rugged gear.
Rugged gear. All
right, there we go. I knew a simple look on the interwebs would do us good, but it's a cart, so you're wheeling this thing in and out, and you recommend the 2-wheeled version.
Yeah, well, so there's 2 big wheels in the back and 2 up front. It's a 4-wheel version. And honestly, it doesn't work in every scenario. A lot of the places I hunted in the South, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, there's logging roads that you use to access your areas and your food plots. And so it's a perfect scenario for that. But you're not going to just go push this thing through the woods in Iowa. So
no.
Unique situations call for that tool. But again, I know there are turkey hunters out there that don't believe in that, and that's fine. You hunt your way, I'm gonna hunt mine. I don't give a rip.
Jeremy King. Sorry.
I think he was disappointed. I think I sent him a picture of that the first time I used it, and all he did was like, "What's happened to you?"
Yeah, I think that was both our reaction. I prefer run and gun because honestly, where I hunt, that's what lends itself better to that terrain, and I think the thing that might be lost on people, it's like, well, Thomas Allen doesn't only hunt from a blind. He's adaptive to his environment and what the birds are doing, because that's going to tell you how you need to hunt.
Last year, Tommy and I went to Wisconsin. We hunted a military base there, and it was a mile walk for us to get where the birds might be. I didn't take the cart. I didn't take the blind. We went out there and we shot turkeys. So it's about the hunt for me. I'm happy to sit here and say, if you don't want to hunt in the blind, you don't have to. But what I'm not going to sit here and listen to is somebody tell me it's not turkey hunting, because it's a chess match of calling, of positioning, knowing where the birds are. And if it ain't for you, that's fine. I just let you get out there and shoot those things. So, and plus, if you're taking kids, gosh, there's just no better way to get them out there and have them enjoy it with you.
I agree. I 100% agree with that one for sure. My son's first turkey came out of a blind, and I mean, he absolutely loved it, and he can move around all he wants. Like, you move around, whatever, go lay down. I don't care. So,
hot hands. You got to have hot hands.
Hot hands.
Cold?
Okay. Thomas sends me a picture today. He shows like it's a picture and it's a bin full. Like, so if you like a Walmart or something like that and you go to the sporting goods section and in the middle of the aisle, they're sitting there. Yeah.
For $1.
For $1. Giant packs of hot hands for $1.
So I got a cart full of them.
Yeah. He got a cart full, sends me a picture of it, and he's walking out whistling all the way home.
If you're not in this part of the world and you have kids, that is it's a paramount piece of equipment.
It can be a lifesaver. Oh, it can pull you through some tough hunts. Just a little bit of warmth. Just a little bit of warmth.
Sale, Kevin, for $2.
For what?
$2.
Well, the picture said $1.
No, I'll sell you mine for $2. You're not going to find that deal at your Walmart.
No, I won't. You don't find hot hands in southern Louisiana. It's just not possible.
I suppose not. Although
I Amazon now. What I do, like if I get them, I'll get them before the season starts, and I'll order them off of Amazon. I know a lot of people are like, "Why do you support Amazon?" Well, because it's easy and I can get them cheap. So
I won't be buying hot hands for about 5 or 6 years. I can tell you that.
Oh no, you're set for life. You're set for life. At least till you come back to Oklahoma.
That's right.
Well, all right, Thomas. Thanks for joining us, man. And as always, we'll get you back on because we love having you. I don't mind talking to you.
I love talking turkey. It's something that just it gets me excited. It's that time of year. Honestly, I'm glad I don't have to choose between whitetails and turkeys, Kevin, because I don't know that I could pick. Thank the Lord we're able to have 2 separate seasons to get us through the year.
Yeah.
And man, kids, there is nothing better.
Thank goodness turkeys can't smell.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even hunt them. Be done with it.
That's a good thing. All right, Gun Talk hunters, you guys always be safe. Keep those barrels pointed in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.